only affects males. Having a successful team does not affect females in their grade point.
You can see all of this at our website, cspan.org. We're returning live to the Senate now, where members will begin voting on up to 73 amendments to the Farm Bill.
Two, 3, 8, 9 is agreed to.
Mr. President.
Senator from Michigan.
Mr. President, first I would ask unanimous consent that we have 2 minutes of debate equally divided prior to the first Akaka vote, 2440.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. President.
Senator from Hawaii.
To speak in favor of amendment number 2440 to the Farm Bill. This amendment would improve implementation of an existing program at USDA, which provides loans to purchasers of highly fractionated Indian lands. One unfortunate legacy of policies of the late 1800s is that many Indian lands are highly fractionated. This means that one parcel of land might have hundreds or even thousands of owners. Highly fractionated parcels make putting these Indian lands to viable use virtually impossible. This goes against any well-established federal Indian policies, encouraging the productive use of Indian lands. As chair of the Committee on Indian Affairs, I have worked with the USDA and stakeholders to craft this amendment to improve agricultural land use for tribal governments and individual Indians. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment.
Senator's time has expired.
Mr. President.
Wait. Next.
No. Mr. President.
Senator from Kansas.
This is a technical amendment. I rise in support of it, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Mr. President.
Senator Way.
I call up my amendment and speak in favor of Amendment 2696, a bipartisan amendment that Senator Thune and I are offering to the Farm Bill.
President, if I might.
Senator from Michigan.
If I might take a moment, I believe we want to first dispose of the Akaka Amendment 2440. Our ranking member has indicated no opposition, and so at this point I would ask that we proceed unless there is a reason. Okay, on behalf of Senator Akaka, I would call up the Amendment 2440 and ask that we proceed with the
Senator from Hawaii.
Without objection, the clerk will report.
The Senator from Hawaii, Mr. Akaka, proposes amendment number 2440.
And I would ask that we proceed with the voice vote, Mr. President.
If there's no further debate on the amendment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The amendment is agreed to. Senator from Hawaii.
I rise today to speak in favor of Amendment 2396, a bipartisan amendment that Senator Thune and I are offering to the Farm Bill. This amendment would make permanent the Office of Tribal Relations at the USDA. This office was created to ensure that the USDA upholds federal Indian policy and maintains its government-to-government relationship with tribes. Permanently establishing this office will ensure that tribal governments can develop their programs in parity with their neighbors in rural America. It will ensure that the USDA consults with tribal governments and that tribes can participate in programs related to agricultural, infrastructure, and economic development opportunities. I encourage all of my colleagues to support this bipartisan amendment to the Farm Bill. Mahalo, thank you, and I yield back my time. I call up Amendment 2396.
The clerk will report.
The Senator from Hawaii, Mr. Akaka, opposes amendment number 2396.
Without objection, so ordered. Who yields time in opposition?
Mr. President,
Senator from Kansas.
this amendment makes permanent the current Office of Tribal Relations of the Department of Agriculture, and that's a very important outreach to Native American farmers and ranchers, and we have no objection. I yield back the balance of my time.
If there's no further debate on the amendment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The amendment is agreed to.
She's not here.
Mr. President.
Senator from New Hampshire.
Mr. President, I would like to call up Ayotte Amendment 2192, and this, Mr. President, this amendment seeks to reform.
The clerk will report the amendment.
The Senator from Maine, Ms. Ayotte, proposes amendment number 2192.
Thank you.
There are now 2 minutes of debate equally divided. The senator from New Hampshire is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. My amendment seeks to reform the value-added program grant program. The USDA has awarded $240 million in grants over the lifetime of this program, but the USDA has not been transparent and has failed to adequately account for the grants and how they are awarded. The last assessment of this program was in 2006 and indicated that more than 40% of the grant recipients went out of business just 3 years after having completed their grant project. My amendment would allow the program to go forward, but it would reform this program to be more accountable to taxpayers. The program has awarded 62 grants totaling $12.1 million to ethanol facilities, and it does eliminate grants to ethanol facilities. We should not be wasting further taxpayer dollars to give to ethanol producers when we have already given them so many taxpayer opportunities here. At least 105 wine industry groups and wineries have received $10.5 million.
Senator's time has expired.
I would just ask, this is a good amendment for taxpayers to reform this program and make it accountable.
Mr. President.
Who yields time? Senator from Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Unfortunately, I would urge my colleagues to vote no on this amendment. It cuts in half funding for a program that helps food entrepreneurs, the folks that are out there, small businesses, farmers that want to create new kinds of products and be able to commercialize them, get them to marketplace. This is really what we're trying to do, is leverage more dollars in this bill, not only to support the farmer on the farm, but to be able to move into commercialization to create new food products and jobs. We've, in fact, have created hundreds of jobs at wineries. We've done all across this country, created jobs by helping small businesses and entrepreneurs to be able to take a great idea and to be able to move it to commercialization and add value to their product. I would strongly urge a no vote, and I would ask for the yeas and nays.
Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. All time has expired. The yeas and nays have been ordered. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka, Mr. Alexander, Ms. Ayotte, Mr. Barrasso, Mr. Baucus, Mr. Bekich, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Bingaman, Mr. Blumenthal, Mr. Blunt, Mr. Bozeman, Mrs. Boxer, Mr. Brown of Massachusetts, Mr. Brown of Ohio. Mr. Burr, Ms. Cantwell, Mr. Cardin, Mr. Carper, Mr. Casey, Mr. Chambliss, Mr. Coates, Mr. Coburn, Mr. Cochran, Ms. Collins, Mr. Conrad, Mr. Coons, Mr. Corker, Mr. Cornyn, Mr. Dement, Mr. Durbin, Mr. Enzi, Mrs. Feinstein, Mr. Franken, Mr. Graham, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mrs. Hagan, Mr. Harkin, Mr. Hatch, Mr. Heller, Mr. Hoven, Mrs. Hutchison, Mr. Inhofe, Mr. Noe, Mr. Isaacson, Mr. Johans, Mr. Johnson of Wisconsin, Mr. Johnson of South Dakota, Mr. Kerry, Mr. Kirk, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Cole, Mr. Kyle, Ms. Landrieu, Mr. Lautenberg, Mr. Leahy, Mr. Lee, Mr. Levin, Mr. Lieberman, Mr. Lugar, Mr. Manchin, Mr. McCain, Mrs. McCaskill, Mr. McConnell, Mr. Menendez, Mr. Merkley, Ms. Mikulski, Mr. Moran, Ms. Murkowski, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Nelson of Nebraska, Mr. Nelson of Florida, Florida, sorry. Mr. Paul, Mr. Portman, Mr. Pryor, Mr. Reed of Rhode Island. Mr. Reed of Nevada. Mr. Risch. Mr. Roberts. Mr. Rockefeller. Mr. Rubio. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Schumer. Mr. Sessions. Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Shelby. Ms. Snowe. Ms. Stabenow. Mr. Tester. Mr. Thune. Mr. Toomey. Mr. Udall of Colorado. Mr. Udall of New Mexico. Mr. Vitter. Mr. Warner. Mr. Webb. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Wicker. Mr. Wyden. Senators voting in the affirmative: Ayotte, Chambliss, Coates, Enzi, Graham, Inhofe, Isaacson, Lee, Manchin, McCain, Murkowski, and Sessions. Senators voting in the negative: Akaka, Beckidge, Bingaman, Blumenthal, Blunt, Brown of Ohio, Cantwell, Carper, Casey, Conrad, Coons, Durbin, Feinstein, Franken, Hagan, Harkin, Johans, Johnson of South Dakota, Kerry, Klobuchar, Cole, Landrieu, Lautenberg, Leahy, Levin, Lieberman, Lugar, Menendez, Merkley, Mikulski, Murray, Nelson of Florida, Reed of Rhode Island, Rockefeller, Schumer, Udall of New Mexico, Warner, Webb, and Wyden. Mr. Corker, aye. Shaheen, no. Mrs. Boxer, no. Mr. Hoeven, no. Mr. Moran, no. Mr. Cardin, no. Mr. Whitehouse, no. Mr. Heller, aye. Mr. Wicker, aye. Mr. Sanders, no. Mr. Johnson, Wisconsin, aye. Mr. Rubio, aye.
We have an order for that?
Mr. Reed of Nevada, no. You have it. Ms. Stabenow, no. Ms. Collins. Ms. Collins, no. Mr. Inouye, no. Mrs. McCaskill, no. Mrs. Gillibrand, no. Mr. Dement, aye. Mr. Coburn, aye. Mr. Paul, aye. Mr. Pryor, no. Mr. Nelson, Nebraska, no. Mr. McConnell. Mr. McConnell, aye. Mr. Bozeman, aye. Ms. Snowe, aye. Mr. Tester, no. Mr. Toomey, aye. Mr. Udall, Colorado, no. Mr. Roberts, no. Mr. Risch, aye. Mr. Shelby, aye. Mr. Kyle, aye. Mr. Crapo, aye. Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, no. Mr. Portman, aye. Mr. Barrasso, aye. Mr. Brown of Massachusetts, aye. Mrs. Hutchison? Aye. Mr. Cornyn? Aye. Mr. Burr? Aye. Mr. Baucus? Mr. Baucus? No. Mr. Alexander? Mr. Alexander? Aye. Mr. Cochran? No. Mr. Grassley? No. Mr. Hatch? Aye. Mr. Vitter? Aye. Mr. Thune? Aye.
Are there any senators in the chamber wishing to vote or to change their vote? If not, on this, the yeas are 38, the nays are 61. The amendment is not agreed to.
Mr. President,
Majority Leader.
for the benefit of all senators, if I could have the attention of the Senate.
Majority Leader is recognized.
Mr. President, we have before us why we're here. This was very difficult to get to the point we are now, where we have a very important bill. We do these every 5 years. And Senator Stabenow and Roberts have worked very, very hard to get us to this point. I congratulate them both. We have a long, long ways to go. And first of all, everyone understand, all the next votes are going to be 10-minute votes. That means at the end of 15 minutes, we're going to cut off the vote. It doesn't matter if Democrats missing or Republican missing. It doesn't matter. If it's really a close vote, we always are careful with that, and we understand. But let's understand, when the time's up, we're going to turn in the vote. And secondly, I've instructed all of the presiders, we're going to have 1-minute speeches. 1 minute for Democrats, 1 minute for Republicans. And when that time's up, the time is going to end. So everyone will be treated the same. We have 73 amendments we have to work through. We have a lot to do the rest of this week. But this is an important thing we work on now. So, number one, we're going to keep the vote. And I've instructed my staff, I have an important meeting at 4 o'clock. If I'm not here, I won't be counted. That's the way we have to do it. If you have important meetings, you might have missed a vote or two. And secondly, I'll repeat, we will have 2 minutes equally divided before each vote. And it will be 2 minutes.
Mr. President.
Senator from Montana.
Call up amendment number 2429.
The clerk will report.
The senator from Montana, Mr. Tester, for Mr. Baucus and himself, proposes amendment number 2429.
I ask that further reading be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Mr. President.
2 minutes is equally divided.
Okay, Mr. President, I urge my colleagues to support the Baucus-Tester amendment number 2429. The Baucus-Tester amendment fixes a problem in the livestock forage program to make sure that ranchers who suffer losses in their herds because of drought are able to get the money, able to get the help that they need. If you're in grass-based agriculture, folks, those are the ranchers. Grass is the heartbeat of your operation. If you don't have it, you can't survive. And we saw how critical this last year when record droughts devastated the Southwest. Wildfires burned more than 2 million acres in Texas. Now, this Livestock Disaster Assistance Program was moved into Title I of the Farm Bill. This amendment fixes a problem that we've seen in one of those programs, and I urge my colleagues to support this amendment.
Who yields time in opposition? Senator from Michigan.
It's my understanding that we can proceed with a voice vote on this amendment. There's no objection.
Mr. President, I know of no objection.
Senator from Kansas.
I yield back the balance of my time.
All time is yielded back. The question is on Amendment 2429. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes appears to have it. The ayes do have it. The amendment is agreed to.
Mr. President,
Senator from Michigan.
I ask unanimous consent that the following members of Senator Bingaman's office be given floor privileges for the pendency of 3240, the Farm Bill. Bridget Peters, Eugenia Woods, James Anderson, Aurora Churia, and Carl Slater.
Without objection, swerved.
Mr. President.
Senator from Kansas.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that our USDA detailee, Patty Lawrence, be granted floor privileges for the duration of the debate of consideration of this bill.
Without objection, swerved.
Mr. President,
Senator from Michigan.
it's my understanding that we now are ready with Senator Snowe's amendment, and I would ask consent that she be the next amendment in order.
Without objection, swerved. Senator from Maine.
I call up amendment number 2190.
Clerk will clerk will report.
The Senator from Maine, Ms. Snowe, proposes amendment number 2190.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that Amendment 2190 be modified by the changes I'm sending to the desk.
Is there objection? The objection is ordered. There are now 2 minutes to debate, equally divided. Senator from Maine.
Mr. President,
Senator from Maine is recognized.
Mr. President, I rise in strong support of this amendment that I've offered along with Senator Gillibrand of New York on a bipartisan basis. I want to thank the chair and the ranking member for working with us on the modifications in support of this amendment. The underlying bill establishes a margin insurance program that helps very large dairy producers but provides little assistance to small family-owned dairy producers that have exponentially fewer cows and do not produce a surplus amount of milk. Without this amendment, these small dairy farmers face possible extinction due in part to excessive price volatility, as under the current system, commodity markets in Europe influence the price our farmers right here at home receive from the government. So our amendment will help to resolve this inequity by requiring the Department of Agriculture to provide an analysis on the effects of amending each federal milk marketing order and consider how best to update the current system of federal orders, which is now 12 years old. So I would hope that we would adopt this amendment.
Who yields time?
Mr. President, I would support this amendment and yield back time on our side. It's my understanding we can proceed with a voice vote on this amendment.
There's no further debate. The question is on Amendment 2190 as modified. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No.
Yes.
Noes appear to have it.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. No. Noes appear to have it.
Would ask for a record roll call.
Is there sufficient second?
Snowe.
Okay. There appears to be. There is. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka. Mr. Alexander.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why we say they appear to have it, because they don't, and we chose to have it. We can't run on railroads.
Ms. Ayotte. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Balkus. Mr. Beckich. Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bingaman.
White House aye.
I don't have page line numbers. Mr. Blumenthal. Mr. Blunt. Mr. Bozeman.
What I have. It's Jones.
Mrs. Boxer. Mr. Brown in Massachusetts.
No, it's good. It's just annoying because I put them all in this order, and now it's not like I can even pull them out in numerical order because they're not in numerical order. Thank you.
Mr. Brown of Ohio. Mr. Burr. Ms. Cantwell. Mr. Cardin. Mr. Carper. Mr. Casey. Mr. Chambliss. Mr. Coates. Mr. Coburn. Mr. Cochran, Ms. Collins, Mr. Conrad. Mr. Coons, Mr. Corker, Mr. Cornyn, Mr. Crapo, Mr. DeMint, Mr. Durbin. Mr. Enzi, Mrs. Feinstein, Mr. Franken, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mrs. Hagan, Mr. Harkin, Mr. Hatch, Mr. Heller, Mr. Hoban, Mrs. Hutchison. Mr. Inhofe, Mr. Noway, Mr. Isaacson, Mr. Johans, Mr. Johnson, Wisconsin, Mr. Johnson, South Dakota. Mr. Carey, Mr. Kirk, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Cole, Mr. Kyle, Ms. Landrieu,
No.
Mr. Lautenberg, Mr. Leahy, Mr. Lee, Mr. Levin, Mr. Lieberman, Mr. Lugar, Mr. Manchin, Mr. McCain, Mrs. McCaskill, Mr. McConnell, Mr. Menendez, Mr. Merkley, Ms. Mikulski, Mr. Moran. Ms. Murkowski. Mrs. Murray. Mr. Nelson, Nebraska. Mr. Nelson of Florida. Mr. Paul.
Amy,
Mr. Portman. Mr. Pryor. Mr. Reed of Rhode Island. Mr. Reed of Nevada. Mr. Risch. Mr. Roberts. Mr. Rockefeller. Mr. Rubio. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Schumer. Mr. Sessions. Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Shelby. Ms. Snowe. Ms. Stabenow. Mr. Tester. Mr. Thune. Mr. Toomey. Mr. Udall of Colorado. Mr. Udall of New Mexico. Mr. Vitter. Mr. Warner. Mr. Webb. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Wicker. Mr. Wyden. Senators voting in the affirmative. Akaka, Ayotte, Baucus, Beckidge, Bingaman, Blumenthal, Brown in Massachusetts, Cardin, Carper, Casey, Coburn, Cochran, Collins, Conrad, Coons, Corker, Gillibrand, Graham, Grassley, Hagan, Harkin, Hatch, Inouye, Carey, Landrieu, Lautenberg, Leahy, Levin, Lieberman, Manchin, McCain, McCaskill, McConnell, Menendez, Merkley, Mikulski, Moran, Murkowski, Murray, Portman, Reed of Rhode Island, Roberts, Rockefeller, Rubio, Sanders, Schumer, Shaheen, Snowe, Stabenow, Tester, Toomey, Udall of New Mexico, Vitter, Warner, and Whitehouse. Mr. Webb? Mr. Webb, aye. Mr. Reed of Nevada, aye. Mr. Franken, aye. Mr. Brown of Ohio, aye. Senators voting in the negative: Alexander, Barrasso, Blunt, Bozeman, Boxer, Chambliss, Coates, Cornyn, Crapo, DeMint, Durbin, Enzi, Feinstein, Heller, Hoeven, Inhofe, Isaacson, Johans, Johnson of Wisconsin, Johnson of South Dakota, Cole, Kyle, Lugar, Nelson, Nebraska, Nelson of Florida, Paul, Risch, Sessions, Thune, Udall of Colorado, Wicker, and Wyden. Mr. Lautenberg, aye. Mr. Bennett, no. Ms. Klobuchar, aye. Mr. Lee, aye. Mr. Shelby. Mr. Shelby, aye. Mr. Burr. Mr. Burr, no. Mrs. Hutchison, no. Ms. Cantwell, aye. Mr. Sessions, aye.
I want to change my vote.
Okay, let me do one at a time. Mr. Nelson of Florida, aye.
Are there any senators wishing to vote or change their vote? Hearing none, it is, whoa, I'm sorry. There are 66 ayes and 33 nays. The amendment as modified is adopted.
Mr. President.
Senator from New Mexico.
Mr. President, let me...
Without objection, Senate now the senator from New Mexico.
Mr. President, could we have order?
President, could we have order, please?
Can we have order, please?
Senator from New Mexico.
Mr. President, let me speak for a moment with regard to amendment number 2364 that Senator Hutchison and I had intended to offer. We have been in consultation with the managers of the legislation. They've agreed to some changes in the report language that accommodate our concern. Our concern is about water conservation and ensuring that water conservation, particularly in the arid West, but in any part of the country where there are underground aquifers.
Please, order. The Senator from New Mexico.
Water conservation wherever there is depletion of water supplies that is going to make farming and agricultural activities impossible in the future. They've agreed to some changes in the report language that accommodate our concerns. They've agreed to a colloquy that accommodate our concerns, and accordingly we will not proceed with the amendment. Before I withdraw the amendment, could I ask Senator Hutchison to make any comments she'd like to make?
Mr. President, I appreciate the sponsors of the bill working with us because, just as an example, the Okalala Aquifer has gone down 100 feet since irrigation has been allowed from this water source. It's a source for cities such as the city of San Antonio and other cities around New Mexico and Texas. That's just one example. It's happening all over our country. So conservation has to be a part of keeping our farms and ranches alive, and that is the purpose of the amendment. We appreciate the sponsors working with us and hope that we can go forward and highlight the importance of conservation to keep our water resources for our farmers and ranchers. Thank you.
Mr. President, in light of the comments that were just made, we will not call the amendment up, and the managers can go to the next amendment.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Senator from Michigan.
Take a moment to thank Senator Bingaman and Senator Hutchinson. Both New Mexico and Texas have strong, passionate advocates. They're lucky to have them, and we're looking forward to working with them to make sure that the issues they've raised are addressed. I also, just for those following along in order, would just indicate that Senator Collins, in light of the passage of the Snowe Amendment, will not be proceeding with her amendment, just for the information of the Senate.
Mr. President, the Senator from Iowa.
I call up my marketing loan amendment.
Clerk will report.
Do we know the number of it? Do we know? 2167.
The Senator from Iowa, Mr. Grassley, proposes an amendment number 2167.
The reading thus far constitutes the reading in the whole. This amendment...
Without objection.
This amendment I tried in 2008 Farm Bill, got 57 votes for it, but it was under a 60-vote rule, so obviously it didn't get adopted. This amendment...
Please.
This amendment would cap payment